long awaited for Acala Network interview had been recently published, and some community members recommended that I do a breakdown video of what was discussed and with my opinion about Bryan Chen's answers in the interview. His name is actually Xiliang Chen, but many Chinese people adopt a first name when they move to an English-speaking country for simplicity. So I decided to prepare this video, which will hopefully answer some of your questions. I also want to remind you that what I'm about to say in this video are my personal opinions of the answers to my questions, so should not be taken personally because every person is entitled to an opinion, and if you want to listen to mine, you'll take it as it is, and if you don't want to listen, then this video is probably not for you. Let the chaos begin. Hello and welcome to Cryptos Chain. My name is Claudio. A few days ago I had interviewed one of Acala's co-founders and CTO Bryan Chen to try to get answers to some tough questions which are on many community members' minds, be it holders or simply those who believe in Polkadot or maybe still in Acala.
I think people don't even realize how big this is going to be.
The first question I asked him was about AUSD repegging and if we'll ever see that again. He answered that they're reworking AUSD right now with a new model, which is why they also removed it from Acala's website. Now, my personal opinion is that they're working on something with AUSD and haven't completely abandoned it, but seeing him worried in his responses has actually concerned me that perhaps it's just a decoy. Now, when you speak to someone and they keep swallowing after every sentence, it's a bit of a red flag. Now let's hope I'm wrong about that though. The second question I asked him was about the Kucoin scandal with Acala, and because we all know AUSD hasn't repegged on Kucoin since the AUSD minting bug in August of last year, and Bryan has dodged my question by saying that he doesn't know and he can only answer technical questions. Now my opinion is that he definitely does know since he's a co-founder. Even if he's also a CTO, there's no way that such a small leadership team would keep that hidden away from Bryan. But my assumption is that there is some sort of legal binding behind the scenes, maybe even disagreement between Kucoin and Acala, which Bryan simply can't talk about to the public. Perhaps their legal representative also advised all the team members to not talk about this topic publicly until they sort it out with Kucoin. And also notice that the ST label is still on AUSD for so long, and normally Kucoin delists these coins or tokens in a few months if they're consistently low volume. Yet for some reason AUSD is still there and trading, so wonder why, and that tells me the discussion is happening between the two teams behind the scenes, otherwise Kucoin would just let this go and delist. On the third question with the second Acala exploit about T-Dot or Nonce Finance, he has answered and he claimed it's resolved, but that dot got minted is lost once again, and the team seem to be messing up some technical features when it comes to these bugs. Now I'm not sure if it was even the Acala devs managing that or if it was other devs, but Acala have overlooked it and helped fix the issue. As for the Acala Lease swap referendum question, Bryan has made it clear that there is a Polkadot bug causing parachain 3336, which is Acala's new parachain ID, to never produce valid blocks, and therefore preventing Acala from performing the lease swap action. Now I agree here that the team at Acala are just trying to get this issue fixed and continue delivering, hopefully to fix the issues with Acala, and this issue is outside of Acala's control, so it makes sense to get this resolved. However, for the next question, which is also linked to this referendum one, where a large dot holder has voted a large amount over 256k dot to tricks conviction against Acala, basically trying to kill the parachain, has done so likely because of the lack of communication that they got from Acala. Meanwhile, since this interview though, two other very large holders have jumped in to support Acala and have voted aye, overturning their rejection and getting the referendum to currently pass. But there are still 22 days left before a decision, so many things could still happen until then. Though given that those two very large holders have only used 1x conviction, they could always bump up that conviction should they see a threat, and so I believe that Acala's referendum will pass in the end. Bryan had also been very vocal about the importance of that referendum, but I wasn't too happy with the finger pointing.
We asked for Polkadot to help, and Polkadot failed to help us.
In that Polkadot has failed to help them. You usually have to be responsible for your own actions, and in this case their communication just wasn't the best, and so that made a lot of people very angry in the community. Regarding the question about attending in-person events, I really don't agree with Bryan's response that they're just trying to avoid spending money. I don't believe that much money gets spent to attend a conference or an event as a team, and I'm sure many would want them to actually come join for free just so that they can get an audience given their previous reputation before the bug. In reality, the fear is that they fear for their lives, and no sane Acala team member would risk their life attending a conference only to be exposed to some very frustrated coin holder who lost maybe millions of dollars and who would probably be capable of causing a harm to that team member purely because of that. Let's not forget, when it comes to money and especially large sums, things can get very messy. So I believe that to be the real reason for them not attending any of these conferences and not funding. Conference organizer I know has also confirmed this to me when they tried to bring an Acala representative to a conference last year, and this is the response they got from the team. With regards to the question about Dan Reecer leaving Acala, Bryan didn't want to comment too much on that and said that they're collaborating with Wormhole because of Dan and that it is a loss to the team, but he didn't answer if they're planning to substitute Dan. Then again, who would be willing to come and work for Acala right now in a sensitive time like this? So I can't blame them not even trying to substitute them. Also, Dan Reecer is a known Polkadot educator, and he's taught many people in the space who joined how to contribute to crowd loans and what the parachain auctions are. In fact, my own knowledge of them was very limited at the time when Dan was promoting these on Twitter. So he's had a very good reputation, and I believe his reputation has been impacted a lot by Acala. He's been heavily attacked on Twitter and had to block many individuals just to avoid harsh comments, so I can understand that. Also, let's not forget that there's a high possibility that Dan had nothing to do with this bug, since he's not a dev and was simply the face of Acala because of his influence on Twitter. Will this come back to haunt him even though he moved to Wormhole? Absolutely, but it doesn't mean people won't eventually forget about it, and I'd be curious to find out if he'll be avoiding conferences or events to represent Wormhole, at least for a while. As for the regaining of user confidence question, Bryan said that they will try, but personally I don't believe it will be possible, at least not right now. Acala is seen as a disappointment to the Polkadot ecosystem, and it's not me saying that, it's the community everywhere on social media. Many actually believe Acala is a rug and it's game over for them, so if they want to regain that trust, it will take a lot of hard work, and they'd have to provide something to make up for the major losses with the ACA coin, with the AUSD token. Only then, combined with a robust DeFi product, could we possibly see that user trust be regained, but I don't believe in miracles even if this is crypto, so I'm more inclined towards the pessimistic side here with this one. For the financial sustainability question, Bryan said that they're doing okay and are careful with the spending, and I believe they are, because they earned a lot, and I mean a lot of money, from the Build Acala event, more exactly $61 million, not to mention what they raised from the private rounds, so they have a ton of money. Now the question is, what has been done with it? Has it been used to provide liquidity on some of the pairs, or has it been pocketed? If it has been used to provide liquidity, all investors got pretty much screwed. That's unfortunately one of the questions I forgot to add in my list, and also ask Bryan about that in order to clarify to the community. Now for the question regarding the Polkadot Treasury funds, Bryan said that they're building tools on Polkadot that require Treasury funding, which will also help parachains including Acala, and I can't really comment on that because I don't have the evidence or the technical expertise, so I'll have to take Bryan's word for that, because to be fair, I have seen that Bryan is active when it comes to commits on coding in general, and that can be seen here on his GitHub profile with all those code commits. Regarding the question as to why they can't focus on fixing Acala rather than work on those Polkadot tools, he claimed that they need those tools in order to also help Acala as per the previous question, but I'm still not 100% convinced that they can't just focus all of their efforts on Acala's AUSD restructuring, which he said they're doing in the first question. Now, unless these tools that he's working on are also required for that AUSD restructuring. So again, I can't be 100% sure here, and I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. As for the question if the Acala team will return the borrowed funds to the Kusama Treasury, which they used to supply KSM liquidity on Karura, he said that they will whenever that date is due to happen. And Anael from Parity posted a comment in Referendum 144 where she mentioned Acala and Bifrost both borrowed treasury funds to supply liquidity on their platforms, and that they're due to refund them in Q3 of this year. So let's wait and see if they will be returned or not back to the Kusama Treasury. I remind you that these are my personal opinions and does not mean it is really the case. Thanks as always for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like. Also drop a comment below, and don't forget to follow me on my social media, be it on Twitter or join the Telegram community. See you in the next one.